Associate Minister for Trade Todd McLeay spoke at the Chamber of Commerce organised function last week to address public concerns over free trade agreements such as the Trans-Pacific Partnership Agreement. The TPPA is currently being negotiated in secret, and New Zealand is one of the 11 Pacific countries, including the US, that this agreement will dictate trade terms with. However, those opposed to laws that will challenge New Zealand's sovereignty and democracy, as some believe the TPP will, made sure their views were also heard on the day, taking to the water to be beside the venue where the associate member was talking to Chamber of Commerce and Council representatives. Worldwide protest and debate on the controversial Investor States Dispute Settlement, ISDS, which will allow overseas investors to sue if governments change laws that affect their profits, is growing in strength, with Germany and France refusing to sign any deal in the parallel Transatlantic Trade and Investment Partnership, TTIP, containing the Investor States Dispute Settlement. Much of the secrecy has been lifted on their particular trade agreement by the European Commission, with the introduction of a number of measures to enhance transparency in the negotiations while allowing public scrutiny and consultation. Many US politicians are outspoken in their condemnation while sharing similar concerns as those that are opposed in New Zealand.
It allows big multinationals to weaken labor and environmental rules, giving foreign corporations special rights to challenge our laws outside of our legal system is a bad deal. So long as TPP includes investor-state dispute settlement, the only winners will be international corporations.
The resolution concerning the TPPA, first adopted unanimously by Nelson City Council, is becoming problematic for central government as more councils and provincial councils are adopting the full resolution. Local Government New Zealand recently had a meeting with the Trade Minister to discuss the concerns councils have if the TPPA is signed. They raised concerns about the implications the Trans-Pacific Partnership may have on local governance throughout the country. I spoke with Laurence, Yule, President of Local Government New Zealand, and the Mayor of Hastings on his discussions with the Ministry of Finance and Trade. Thanks very much for taking the time, Mr. Yule. I know you're very busy, you're rushing from one meeting to the other, I was told.
Yes, I am. Right.
So thanks very much. As you understand, you know that we're very concerned about the TPP and the effects it will have and the impacts it will have on our local, not only our country, but our... we understand you had a meeting with the Trade Minister regarding the Trans-Pacific Partnership Agreement and how it will impact on us and in the local councils in particular. Can you please tell us what came from that meeting, if you could please?
Well, I mean, we asked for some reassurances, which we were given, effectively to say that, and I asked a direct question, would there be any negative impacts on local government? And the answer was no. We actually left the meeting quite satisfied with the answers we got, and in fact I'm just about to communicate that with the members across New Zealand. And the Minister has agreed to come and explain the position of the government to local government in the next few months.
The leaked chapter in January, the investment chapter, applies directly to local government, and this has been accepted with most of the provisions of the chapter. So this is one of the chapters that is directly impacts on local government, yet the Minister is saying that it doesn't really apply directly to local government in your statement. So you can understand, we're still getting the same message that we got years ago, and you've got a lot more confidence than a lot of people, including up to 10 of your councils now that have signed the resolution.
No, I accept that, but and I do have to take confidence. I do have to have face-to-face confidence with people I'm looking in the eye and giving me direct answers. Equally, he indicated that a lot of the leaked material has been superseded in terms of thinking and negotiating positions. And I would imagine that's the case because, we elect governments and we elect people to make decisions on New Zealand Inc.'s behalf. And there's no reason to suggest that they would try and sabotage our ability to do things in New Zealand. And on the direct questioning of would it have any implications for local government, the answer was no.
But we know directly that it does have influence on local governments throughout the world. I mean, the latest one is in Canada, where they're suing a local environmental panel. Would it not be prudent now to maybe seek some independent advice on its implications?
Well, we get asked to seek independent advice on all sorts of things. We make the judgment about how significant it is for the sector. At the moment, I'm not convinced that it's that significant for the sector.
You're not convinced that the biggest negotiation, supposedly a trade negotiation, is significant for the sector, Mr.
We
Yule?
have lots of trade negotiations.
Yes, we do, but this is bigger and better, and supposedly better, but it's definitely bigger than we've ever seen before. So there's implications will be huge. And considering it's a trade negotiation, only 5 of the articles are about trade. So it's these behind the border regulations that these countries are being sued all around the world that we are really, really worried about. And we wish that you'd take on these concerns and maybe take some...
I think we are taking on the concerns. We've met with the Minister. He's outlined to us there is nothing to be concerned about for local government, and he said he will go and talk to a meeting yet to be arranged of the sector. I don't actually think we can actually do much more at the moment.
Well,
and he's offered to come and front up, and we'll take him up on that offer.
Well, I think the only thing that you could do is to seek independent advice on its implications. I mean, would you do that to satisfy the citizens and a lot of your own councils, Mr. Yule?
Well, that's a decision for the Board of Local Government New Zealand, and his letter will be discussed at our next meeting. But I'm not going to preempt what the board will decide to do about the issue you've just raised.
Sure, Mr. Laurence Yule, thank you very much for your time. We really wanted to hear more, but thanks for spending the time with us, and thanks for getting the answers that you could. Local governments around the country have been introduced to the People's Resolution designed to outline the concerns people have over the TPPA and the investor states dispute process and the ability to sue government. 10 councils, including Nelson, have adopted the People's Resolution, while the latest one doing so being Palmerston North last week. I caught up with Greg Rzesniowiecki, who has been travelling the country on a mission to talk to local councils about the implications of the secret TPP that have been exposed through these leaked documents. Greg, it's great to see you, great to catch up with you. You're just passing through. You've been very busy since the Nelson and Tasman councils passed the resolution. Can you tell us a bit more about your story from that time and what's been going on?
Thank you very much, Graeme. Well, I've been on the road for a year.
Yeah.
It's a year. Christchurch, we went and addressed the Christchurch Council on the 24th of April 2014. And so I mentioned that in our most recent presentation yesterday when I was in the North Island in Palmerston North and talking to the council there. And I said, well, to them that I'd been on the road for a year in this project, and it's been quite an interesting period of my life. It's 1/50th of my life. I'm 56, so, and it's all started here in Nelson, right? Because Auckland Council volunteered to get involved in TPP, but it was Nelson where the people got involved and said to the Nelson City Council, you need to look at TPP and protect our interests. And from there, they adopted the Auckland Council's TPP policy solution. And then you and the other Nelson activists pushed the renewables and me into the lobby on the Tasman District Council. And they carried the resolution in March of last year, 6th of March. And then I wrote on behalf of the renewables and TPP Action generally to all councils. So there's 78 councils in New Zealand. I wrote to all of them, and over three days, it took a while, there's a lot of writing, and they all didn't say yes immediately, and we've gone to work from there. And the first council following from that was Christchurch in August, and they adopted the decision or the policy solution unanimously. And then it flowed to Dunedin, and a couple of days later, the 18th of August, and they had quite a debate, and the mayor had to vote twice. he had to use his casting vote, and so the ultimate vote was 7 votes to 6 in favour of the policy. Yeah. And that gave us 5 councils, right, and a spread between the North Island and the South Island. But the only North Island council was Auckland, though Palmerston North and also Horizons Regional Council had carried other resolutions. And so after Dunedin, I came up here at the behest of TPP Action in the North Island in Wellington, and I presented to the Wellington Council on the 27th of August, and then worked for about 4 months with TPP Action, setting up different groups, helping them with their lobbies on councils, and developing lots of evidence to put before councils in their various forums, so deputations, also intervening in their public forums, and we got another 5 councils to endorse the policy. So Wellington City Council early this year in February, followed by Upper Hutt, Kapiti Coast District Council on the 16th of April, and then yesterday Palmerston North City Council. Thank you very much, Palmerston North City Council, and thank you very much to, and big congratulations to all the activists at Palmerston North. There was 40 people in the public public gallery. You know, it was a brilliant turnout, and like we had a good chat afterwards in the local Tomato Cafe about where we were going next with that.